it doesn't matter who you are, you have to maintain the same LTV as everyone else in these DeFi protocols. No one gets any special treatment based on their connections or anything like that, right? And so, a lot of these protocols just operated completely flawlessly. And so I would say, with that, while at the same time you had all these centralized players blow up, the case for DeFi, I think, is stronger than ever. So that's one thing I would say. And then on Bitcoin specifically, I think the kind of need for, a non-political asset that is for enemies is stronger than ever. I mean, if we look at all the kind of geopolitical craziness that took place this year, you now have countries that are trying to move off a dollar standard as, the U.S. basically said that they're going to be using SWIFT as a weapon moving forward. That's kind of their big bazooka that they could pull out, and they immediately pulled it out once, the Russia, Ukraine situation began to unfold, and it kind of showed their cards of, the kind of biggest move that they could make from like a, non-physical, war standpoint. I think that was probably the biggest move that they could make against a country without, physically going to war with them. And so I think with that, a lot of countries, and this is something China's known for a while, as they've stopped buying U.S. treasuries, you can essentially just get completely cut off from your, reserves. And that's what happened in Russia earlier this year, and the entire, financial system. And so I think you have a lot of countries that are probably waking up to the value proposition of BTC over the last year. Wouldn't be surprised if you have sovereign wealth funds or central banks in, developing countries at least that are probably accumulating some BTC down here.
When you think of reflexivity research, you've put together an entire team of various analysts. You guys are pumping out a ton of research. I read it every day, obviously, involved in helping start the business. Talk a little bit as like, what's the goal, right? There's a lot of people who do research. There's a lot of people who are looking at the space. Like, why is another research firm needed? Why spend all the time? I think this report is 40 pages.
40 pages.
Why spend so much time to put together a 40-page report?
Yeah, sure. I think, when I put together the team, I didn't look at anyone's credentials. I didn't even know when I first hired each of our analysts what their background really even was. I kind of knew vaguely a few things that they did, but it didn't matter to me. I found these guys through Twitter because they had great insight, and I liked what they put out. And it was essentially proof of work, right? The crypto ethos is, proof of work. You put out the information and let people, judge you based on that. And you could be an anonymous, whatever you want to have as your profile, a monkey picture. And if you're putting out great stuff, people will find you. And that's how people found me. That's how you found me. Is I put out an article and you DM'd me and said, "Hey man, I like this. Let's record a pod," right? And then ever since we've been good friends. And that's how I found these guys as well. As I just thought they put out great content on the internet.